Comic books, video games, anime, sci-fi. If you've been made fun of for it, we're probably gonna talk about it.
Get those nerds! Nerds!
You're listening to Nerd Radio.
Happy National Fossil Day. It's Nerd Radio on 101 WRIF's website, 101theriff.com. I don't know where I'm going with
Is
that.
that the actual website? I thought it was just WRIF.
It's not. It's WRIF.com.
101theriff.com. When did we buy that domain?
Basically, what happened there was Chuck forgot that we were doing the podcast.
I did.
He was on the air in his mind,
Yep.
and so he started plugging the Riff's website and
going for my
tried to
crutch.
recover and get out of it and make it sound natural.
Nope.
And it didn't work. I'm just breaking down for the listener
Nope.
what it is I just heard. How close am I here?
You're exactly right on. You might as well have been able to see the gears moving behind my eyes.
Right. I know because I've done some stuff like that before on the air.
Right.
You know, and the beauty is here. Now, when you do it live on the air, you got to find a way to fix it.
Yeah.
Now, this, we're pre-recording, so we could easily stop and start again, but I refuse to let you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
As it's been established.
You will turn it into a part of the show so that I have to leave
Yes,
it in.
because you could stop and then start again. Welcome to Nerd Radio, and then I'll just reference. Remember when you screwed that up and you blew the take earlier?
Yeah.
Just to force you to either leave it in or do a lot more editing to get me out of there. I haven't listened back to one of these podcasts in a long time. Am I even on the show?
Not anymore.
Or does Chuck eliminate
Not
me?
anymore. That's why it takes me a whole 48 hours to edit the show.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
it's mostly that he runs like one of those noise removal programs.
yeah.
So he just puts your voice in as the noise, and it just takes you right out.
the Al Eliminator.
Well,
Yes. Available at leliminator.com.
while I may have to put DMX in for when we swear, I've actually figured out a way to get the exact frequency of your voice and turn it into the trumpet from Peanuts. So that you just sound like one of the adults.
Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, it would be amazing. I know you're lying because if you had those skills, you wouldn't be working here.
No. I'd be getting paid much more
Yes.
to do something else.
Yep.
Well, as I tried to say before, welcome to Nerd
And
Radio.
failed.
Yeah, and failed. Thank you, Al. Welcome to Nerd Radio. You can follow us on social media at Nerd Radio 101. In fact, if you're following us on Checkpoint XP's Twitch stream on Wednesday afternoons, Acronym Official already putting all the links in there for us. So thanks, Amy.
Cool.
Much appreciated. Guys, how was your week, nerd-wise?
Yeah, it was okay.
Anything good? You play more Crash over the weekend?
I did.
Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, and I feel like I don't understand how children could play this game and actually have any fun because as an adult, do you know how many times it took me to beat the first level boss?
Okay.
I must have attempted 50 times. There are so many hoops you have to jump through
Yeah.
to hit this boss and take him out. And I was furious on my stream.
Yeah,
Which is what people tune into most of the
Sometimes, yeah.
time.
Well, yeah. But you have to remember, too, that kids are just way better at video games, though. So
Right.
they get it. Listen, my nephew came over, you know, as we occasionally do, and he'll have
Sure.
a video game night or whatever. And I went on that PlayStation Now, and they've got Mortal Kombat 10 on there.
Okay.
And he has never played a game like that before. No Street Fighter, no nothing. He's never played that style of game. And so I whoop his ass in the first match, obviously, because we grew up on Tekken and all that stuff. And then it took him, it's best of 3, obviously.
Sure.
I win the next match, and then next thing I know, he's grabbing mystery people out of the background and bludgeoning me with them. I didn't even know that was an option. I beat him 3 times, and then next thing I know, I'm his bitch. I'm my nephew's bitch.
That's funny.
He's 10.
Yeah, well,
I'm not even kidding. There was somebody in the background. He pulled. I'm like, "How did you do that?" He's like, "Oh, I won't tell you."
Al is cementing his cool uncle status by letting his nephew come over and play Grand Theft Auto and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Well, he's the uncle that's letting you watch boobies and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I told you guys last week about when I got a Sega Genesis. It was specifically to beat my uncle at
Yes.
NHL hockey.
Yeah.
I had like 1 month of training, and I came back and just
my
him.
nephew doesn't require any training.
No, apparently not.
It took him 5 minutes to best me on Mortal Kombat.
Does he have a favorite game? Has he talked to you about?
You know what? He's been playing Among Us lately, which you've been talking about on the show a lot.
So fun.
But
wow, your nephew's a little PC gamer, huh? Or is he playing it on his phone?
He mostly PC games because I think he has a 360.
Okay.
I'm not sure. He does have an Xbox of some kind, but it's an older model, either the original or a 360, and he doesn't care for it at all.
And speaking of Among Us, I want you to get back to your thought there, Al, but I do believe there is an Among Us game planned for this Sunday between Checkpoint XP and Nerd Radio.
Yeah.
So make sure you tune into the Checkpoint XP Twitch channel. I'm assuming somebody from Checkpoint XP will be streaming. I know I plan to try to stream from my channel.
I should get my nephew over and have him be me by proxy.
Yes, do it, Al.
Sign in under my name and step away.
You just watch him play and then talk over the Discord like you're the one playing. But
no, it's definitely Chuck Bean. I saw Chuck. I'm almost positive I saw Chuck Bean do it when I was trying to connect those wires.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard not to try and vote Robbie off every time.
Oh yeah, he's my #1 suspect.
He is sus.
But anyway, sorry.
You may have just sold me on participating.
See what I'm talking about? It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's not Among Us. It's Vote Off Robbie. Oh, no! Goodbye! But,
so, yeah, he's super into Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us is his current thing that he's been playing. But before that Roblox, yeah. Roblox or whatever,
Yeah, no, Chuck's daughter plays that a lot.
Yeah, that's what
Chuck
I was going to say.
streamed that with Stella before.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and before that, he was doing a lot of Minecraft, and I'm looking at, like, those graphics and stuff on those games. I'm like, I had this already.
Right.
But, you know, most of his console gaming is when he comes over to my place on the PlayStation.
Y'all want to hear the saddest thing ever?
Sure.
Because you said he had an Xbox, but you didn't know which one. And I'm just picturing he's got a shoebox that he wrote and put an X on or something like that. So when the original Game Boy came out, the next couple of things to come out were the Game Gear, and then TurboGrafx 16 had a portable thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
And all the TurboGrafx 16 games were just these little cards,
like the Switch.
So you just took TurboGrafx 16 games and put them in this portable thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it in a magazine. I was in middle school, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And we made our own cardboard Game Boy / TurboGrafx 16
made your own
things.
little portable Rolodex of video games.
Because we had little cardboard versions of the games, and then we had a little screen that would go in the screen so it looked like the game. Because your parents weren't going to buy you this $200 portable
Chuck Bean,
TurboGrafx 16
living
thing.
in a world of pure imagination.
It's true.
I was going to say,
I got the high score.
2 years.
Look at me. Oh, man. I just got to level 3 with Sonic on my Game Gear.
Yeah, well, he also grew up in an era where pet rocks were running rampant.
That's why I said Happy National Fossil Day. I said it on the air yesterday. I was going to be celebrating by being the oldest person on Nerd Radio.
Yep.
So here we are.
Just a year before that, though, he was playing stickball and running those little hoops down the street.
Oh, you had one of those hoops?
I had my little sailor suit.
Yeah.
Run around that they wore?
Yeah, a little ascot going on.
Run around his short pants.
Yep. So Al, you said last week that you were going to be doing some dog sitting over the weekend and mentioned that you might watch The Boys.
I did not. I did do the dog sitting, but
am I going to have to send you out of the room for 20 minutes so we can actually talk about The Boys?
You want to save it to the end, and I'll just go downstairs and go back to work.
God damn it. What about you, James? Have you finished it?
I have, yes.
All right, maybe that's how we'll wrap up. I'll move that towards the back end of the show so we can
awesome early day for me.
Yeah, early day for you, you lazy bastard.
Yeah. No, you know what? Dog sitting ended up taking up more time than I was expecting.
Well, that means you were paying good attention to the dog, too, making sure he wasn't eating things he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Are you up to date on Star Trek? Over on CBS All Access.
No, also behind on that. I just found out that the last episode aired. I basically am watching it in like half the season at a time. I shouldn't be here. Why am I?
I don't know. Well, I brought it up because this weekend was the virtual New York Comic Con. So much like all the other Comic Cons that were going on this year, they had no con, but you could go on their YouTube page and they had some panels and they revealed some stuff. One of the things they revealed is they had a big presentation with Patton Oswalt about the MODOK series that's coming to Hulu.
That's like a weird stop animation looking like Robot Chicken type show, right?
Yeah, some of the people that work on Robot Chicken are actually doing this show as well, but it's also irreverent comedy where like MODOK has a daughter and he's running AIM into the ground financially.
Okay.
And I believe Patton Oswalt is actually going to be the voice of MODOK. It'll be really funny to see a show about MODOK almost immediately after he was the main villain of a major video game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I've seen him in trading cards and stuff, so I don't know much about him.
Right.
Other than he was gonna be like the main villain behind the Avengers game.
Yeah.
Which I'm still only about 5% through.
Well, that's okay. The longer you take, the longer the longer you take, the more likely when you finally get to the end of it, there'll be more content to deal with.
Yeah, because I think there's, and hopefully you don't have this on your agenda, but I believe the Hawkeye stuff is coming soon.
Yeah, that's supposed to be
Very soon.
the very first thing they release. And,
I feel like that's probably going to happen right around launch of the next gen consoles.
If it's not ready right now, then they better get it ready pretty soon. I just saw an article about how the last time somebody checked on Steam, the PC players, there was only about 2,000 people still playing the game.
Yeah, so it looks like the game, the playership, I don't know what you would call it, is low.
It's taken a nosedive.
Yeah, they're all playing Fall Guys and Among Us.
I'm still playing it, but I'm almost playing it in the same way that I was playing Final Fantasy 15, in that like it's
kind of don't know if you enjoy it.
It's just something to do now.
Okay.
And I will say, if I could say one positive thing about the game, even a month later, it's that every character plays different enough that it feels like you have the gravity. We talked about when it first came out how when you throw Thor's hammer, it doesn't automatically come back. And that's really a kind of a neat thing. But I actually, over the weekend, I did a thing where I can't believe this didn't occur to me until now. When I decided Iron Man was the guy I was going to level all the way and make my maximum guy. Yeah. So I pulled up the Iron Man 2 soundtrack on my phone and got my headset up. And then as soon as the game started into Shoot to Thrill and just let AC/DC play through my headset to all the other players I was playing with the whole time I was flying around as Iron Man. But yeah, that's the best part about the game is no matter which character you're playing, it feels different enough that it's like, yeah, I'm totally playing Iron Man. I get in and I launch up off the air and fly around, and this is a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the multiplayer is still just like, whenever I play with other people, I'm playing with one other person and then, 2 other computer players.
And the computer players are just trash.
They're not great.
No.
Sometimes you'll fall down, and instead of resurrecting you, they'll just stand about 4 feet away from you, just looking at you. Like, Thor, get over here!
My teammate is down. I should do something, but my programming prevents me from doing that because I'm a bot.
Right.
But damn, do I look good with this skin. Good thing you paid the extra $10 for this skin that I am now wearing.
Right. No, and one of the reasons I ask you about Star Wars, Al, is because they revealed in a Star Wars. Jesus Christ.
I was going to let it go.
Thanks.
I've already given you enough difficult time today.
One of the reasons
the hard, huh? I gave it to him hard.
Gave it to me hard.
I gave way too hard.
One of the reasons I ask you about Star Trek, Al, is because at this New York Comic-Con virtual panel, they revealed that Catherine Janeway is coming back in a new Star Trek show.
Is she?
Yeah, they're going to do a show called Star Trek Prodigy, which is supposed to be an animated series being developed for Nickelodeon, and she's going to be kind of taking care of a group of teenagers, Starfleet teenagers, that are looking to come up into being Starfleet officers. Star Trek Lower Decks, I think, just had its season finale.
Yes.
And what's her name from Next Generation was in it? Marina Sirtis.
Yeah. Counselor Troy.
Yep. And you've also got a third season of Star Trek Discovery coming out this week.
Is it this week already?
Starts this week.
Wow.
And apparently is set, 300 something years in the future, according to what I was reading.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've enjoyed Discovery. It also has left me wanting.
Does it feel like you've got too much Star Trek?
It never feels like that, I don't think.
Well, you went from having I will watch these shows that I've already loved to here's 4 new Star Trek shows.
It is difficult to keep on top of, I guess. Well, for me anyway. I mean, I guess most people love something and they'll watch it, but I get around to things eventually. Is the way I consume entertainment. Hence the frustration with The Boys and
right.
having watched it, and the fact that I haven't even finished Lower Decks yet. Lower Decks, though,
I watched 4 episodes of Lower Decks and I loved every episode, and then just stopped. And I just haven't gone back yet.
Yeah, it was, like I already said on the show, I don't feel like I needed it. And if it wasn't Star Trek, I probably wouldn't be watching it. I mean,
Right.
it's just, I don't know. That style of animation doesn't really speak to me. It's why I can't get into Rick and Morty, which you guys both love that show, and I cannot get into it. It's just, I don't know. There's something about that style of comedy. It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It's like almost chaotic, just. And I don't know. Lower Decks has that feeling. If it wasn't Star Trek, I probably wouldn't be watching it. I enjoy it well enough. It's not like I feel like I'm a hostage by my fandom. But
I have to watch this show because it's part of my thing.
So it was like I binge watched like 4 or 5 episodes because I fell behind in a row, and then I haven't watched any since. And it's easy to get through a bunch of them because it's only 30 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
So Discovery, I'll probably be more on top of, but.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that
I do think we are in danger of having too much.
Out of everything that they announced is, still coming to CBS All Access Star Trek wise, no second season of Picard has been announced.
I know that they've talked about doing it. I know that Patrick Stewart went on The View or whatever the hell Whoopi Goldberg's on,
right, and
asked her to be in season 2, but is it still going to happen? I don't know.
Right.
It sounds like he's not crazy about the way season 1 ended. Like what happened to his character. He thought. It sounds like Patrick Stewart isn't really crazy about the turn the show took.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's like any of those shows, like when they brought the X-Files back or Twin Peaks, something like that. Like, okay, it's cool when you get your first season, but then like, how long do you want to do this again?
Can you sustain it, and then it just becomes just regurgitated stuff.
Right. It's cool that we got more Picard, but like, how much more Picard do you actually want? Do you want?
I want my Star Trek with extra Picard.
Extra Picard,
Hey,
please.
some Picard on the side.
It's like going to Olive Garden. Can you put a little more Picard on that?
Yep. No, don't stop at the Picard.
Endless Picard.
Keep that. Yeah, endless Picard.
Endless Picard bowl.
Keep
the Picard coming. My wallet knows no limits.
Yeah.
Also, they showed off at this virtual New York City Comic Con. Amazon is getting a Invincible, which is a cartoon.
Comic, right?
It's a cartoon based on Robert Kirkman's superhero comic.
That's cool. I never read that.
I didn't either. I understand that it is pretty neat, and it's interesting in that his costume is the Image Eye. Like when Image Comics, when you get a Marvel comic, up in the top corner, there's always the box that says Marvel, and it tells you what the Image, when they started, they just had the eye.
Like a
from Image
lowercase I,
Comics.
right?
Yeah, lowercase I in there. And his actual costume is the Image Eye. Like he went into doing this, being like, we don't have a character that also has the thing on it. So like, let's do this. But that is coming later this year to Amazon, and a show that's coming to Sci-Fi, which for me is typically the kiss of death. Any show on the Sci-Fi Channel, I'm like, nah, it can't be this good.
It's true.
But Sci-Fi is getting a show based on a Dark Horse comic called Resident Alien. The concept of the comic is this alien, this extraterrestrial comes down to this small town city and disguises himself as a human, and then takes over as like a part detective, part doctor. Like as an extraterrestrial, his given job is to be a doctor.
I'm an alien, but I'm also a doctor.
Right.
And I'm also what was he?
And then he becomes a detective too.
A detective. I'm a detective doctor alien.
Because he's got that doctor, that alien doctor knowledge, so he can be like, well, it's this kind of thing. But he's played by Alan Tudyk.
Oh, nice.
In this Sci-Fi Channel show. If you get a chance to check out the teaser trailer that they released over the weekend, it looks extremely funny.
All right. Well, that is the saving grace to me, the Alan Tudyk.
Absolutely. Because
I love that guy. That guy's awesome. But you're so right, dude. Like, I feel like I love the idea of the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it should be one of my favorite channels.
Right.
But I never seem to find anything on it that I want to watch.
Well, come on, man. This is the home of Sharknado.
That's not a selling point for Al.
No.
Unfortunately, it might be a selling point for you.
You're missing out, man. All that glorious entertainment and watching all those Sharknados, all like 12 of them.
I remember when they launched the Sci-Fi Channel being like, how are you launching a Sci-Fi Channel, but you don't have the rights to Star Wars or Star Trek?
Yeah.
What are you going to play?
And then they're like, and I'm brain farting on the name of the other.
The Twilight Zone.
No.
Played a bunch of the Twilight Zone.
What was that other?
Battlestar Galactica.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica. That's what we're going to use.
Bears and Beats.
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica.
Bears.
Dwight Schrute.
Dynamite.
You want to talk about other shows that we used to be huge fans of. You remember when Doctor Who was magical? It was just absolutely like a new episode of Doctor Who would come out, and we.
I thought you meant like he had magical abilities.
No, we were just so hype. so hype back in the David Tennant and Matt Smith eras of Doctor Who, and it was like
I was just gonna say, as much as I loved Peter Capaldi, and I did,
Yeah.
and I really like Jodie Whittaker.
yeah.
I like her too, but no, I'm with you.
It's like we take it for granted now because of course there's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't there be? But yeah, I was looking around on HBO Max, and they've got all the Doctor Who stuff on there, and I pulled up a episode because somebody in a Facebook post mentioned a line that I didn't remember. So I pulled up a specific episode and played it, and I was like, man, this is amazing. I could still take myself back mentally to when the episode came out and how, oh my God, I was about
which Doctor?
the plot twist. It was a Matt Smith episode.
Matt Smith episode.
Yeah, but how much fun it was, and how much I was like, man, this is great.
This is okay. I don't have details on this, so but Steve Black was telling me just today that apparently there's gonna David Tennant's gonna be doing something where he's gonna do. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so because
it's like an audio Doctor Who thing where it's like
yes,
and it's supposed to be like releases an audiobook, so it's like you pay per episode,
right?
But it's gonna be fully cast.
Yep.
He's going to be the 10th Doctor again.
I did listen to some very cool Doctor Who audiobooks.
Did you?
Back in the day, back before I worked here.
I had gotten a couple back when I had that driver job, and I used to listen to a lot of audiobooks.
That was how I had it too.
And there was some that were like voiced by Matt Smith or whatever. It's super cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any of the details on that. Like I said, it just was mentioned to me in passing today. But it's kind of a cool idea. You know, it's a full episode of Doctor Who, except it's all audio. It's like old time radio, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's super cool.
Right up Al's alley.
It really is.
Coming on before the shadow. Don't miss David Tennant.
That's funny. I was going to say
Doctor Who.
I was going to say the Shadow as well.
There you go.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
BBC announced, though, that they're doing some kind of event called Time Lord Victorious, which is going to have a Daleks animated series on their YouTube channel. It's going to be 5 10-minute episodes, CGI animated of the Daleks. For those that don't know, and I imagine, James, you're among them.
I was getting ready to say, what is the Daleks?
The Daleks are the little the
flying
the
trash cans
that look like trash bins. And they've got like a plunger on one arm and a little swisher on another.
They look like really pissed off R2-D2s.
Yes,
I didn't realize that's how you pronounce the word. I guess I always assumed they were called like dialects.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
And now dialect, now it makes sense because it kind of, that's how you would say it.
It's, it's funny.
The English language is a beautiful thing, James.
It is funny because the Daleks, something I like about Doctor Who is they try to remain true to the original. So the Cybermen essentially look the same as they always have. The Daleks, they update them a little bit, but they essentially look the same, and they're just not menacing.
Paint me a picture of what's a Cyberman look like.
It looks like a 1960s robot.
If Daleks are just like a large pissed off R2-D2, Cybermen are large pissed off C-3POs.
Oh, okay. Honestly, it's perfect.
Yep.
But it's so funny because none of them look menacing, but they're still presented as like the ultimate threat to man on the show.
Yeah.
It's like,
then I show up, I'm like, hey, Cyberman.
That's a Cyberman, James.
Oh, ooh, that's pretty cool looking. Like, hey, Cyberman, go to the fridge and get me a snack.
For the, for the Twitch
like
there.
Silver Iron Man armor.
Yeah. With headphones. It almost looks like a cross between Iron Man
They do look like they're wearing headphones.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit? The chick from that was like C-3PO, but in Spaceballs.
Oh, in Spaceballs, yeah. I don't even remember her name. That was Joan Rivers, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember what the name, what her mock name was.
Yeah, her designation as a robot was. All right, well, let's take a break from talking about all the streaming stuff. I've actually got some Netflix news for you guys.
Ooh.
And where are the Ninja Turtles going to show up video game-wise next?
Ooh.
That's all coming up on Nerd Radio. Stay tuned.